He's getting older.
You gotta be raping me!
Oh, hit the full button!
But not wiser.
Everybody has affinity for cock.
This is the Lefty Show.
Welcome, everybody, to the Lefty Show. I am your host, Lefty. Glad to be here with all of you. Tuesday, the 29th of July, in the year of our spaghetti monster, 2014, for the Lefty Show, episode number 64. Welcome one, welcome all to the Lefty Show. I hope to put on a great show for you today. I thank you all for watching, liking, favoriting on YouTube. YouTube.com/LeftyOX is where you can go to find the show in its YouTube formation. You can also follow me on Twitter at Lefty643 to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest news and Lefty Show news and my musings and the whatnots. You can also, and thank you to everybody that's been doing this, sharing the show with friends, family, and coworkers. That's one of the greatest ways to help the show grow, is to share the show like your best friend, herpes. Head on over to leftyshow.podbean.com or go to your favorite Android podcasting app of choice, search The Lefty Show. And if you really want to help the show grow, you can head on over to the iTunes store and search The Lefty Show in the podcasting section, and you'll find us there. Be sure to subscribe to the feed, leave a rating on the feed, a nice comment if you please. And as always, sharing with friends and family, people you think would be interested in the show. Does help us out. And thank you to everybody that's been donating. Got some donations rolling in. I'mRaising.com/643 Productions is where you can do that. I apologize. Yesterday was not feeling too hot. And just didn't really feel like doing a show just all day. It was one of those things, like right up until the end, I felt crappy. And it wasn't like sick or fever or anything. It was just, I felt bad and just off. I couldn't concentrate on anything. My mind was completely scattered all over the place. And even, trying to just do anything, like I tried to play a game on my PC, and I couldn't focus. I would even get I just get kind of dizzy, and at that point I was like, you know what, nothing today. I'm just going to edit some stuff, render out things I had recorded, and then upload some things for today. And the Lefty Show got lost in the mix, so I apologize there. And got some cool stuff on the burner. The Last of Us Remastered is supposed to arrive sometime today, and I plan on streaming that at least a little bit, or at least recording it. So there'll be a Last of Us Remastered. You'll get to see it in glorious 1080p with HD textures and all the great stuff on my YouTube channel. So a lot of fun coming there. The interesting thing, and I do a lot of self-deprecating humor, which can sometimes be hit or miss. Sometimes it's funny. Other times it's not. And sometimes it's based in reality. And when I say that I'm an idiot, sometimes I'm joking, but in reality, I'm an idiot sometimes. Most of the time, maybe. Just a little bit. 35%. 40%. Fine. 45%, not a percentage point more. Am I an idiot? You want to go 50? I'll go 50, but that's it. Half and half. Get a half and half in the back seat with idiocy. That's my pitch to you. Half and half for idiocy. But my girlfriend came home from work, and I told her, I was in bed, and she said, "What are you doing?" I was like, I don't feel good. And she said, "Well, what's wrong?" And I told her, and I said, "Well, it's not really a fever. It's just, I just feel, and I'm scatterbrained, and I can't focus on any one thing for a prolonged period of time. And even watching fast-moving stuff on a screen may result in a little bit of dizziness or nausea." And she said, "Did you eat anything today?" And I thought, and I sat there, and I said, "No, I guess I didn't." And she looked at me, and she was just like, "You're an idiot. You're just dumb." And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I'm dumb. I guess I'm an idiot," because she went out, got some food in me, and I felt approaching normal. So I had unwittingly unknowingly. Like, it's not even like I'm trying to starve myself or what is it? It's anorexia, and bulimia is the two-finger friend down the throat. Because there's other kinds of two-finger friends that go elsewhere, but the two-finger friend down your throat is bulimia. It's not like I'm anorexic or anything like that. I forgot. I'm like, oh yeah, eating is a thing. It's what you're supposed to do. I was just, I drank my morning coffee like I normally do, and then before I knew it, it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I haven't eaten anything. And then all of a sudden I feel like shit, and I wonder why I feel like shit. It's because I haven't eaten anything. And so we are the dumbest of the dumb sometimes. We are absolutely... Because I'm hoping I'm not the only... I say we are dumb because I'm hoping I'm not the only one that does this. I'm hoping that there are other people out there like me who, if not for less absent-minded people, they would tend to forget. I don't know. I mean, I know I have to eat. It's not to say that I'm like, oh, what's this eating? Food? What is that? This is crazy. This is crazy talk, this food thing that you got going on. But I hope there are other people out there like me they're doing things. And you wake up in the morning to go to school or work, and then all of a sudden at school it's easier because you get lunchtime. Like they put you in a room. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why they do it at school. It's because they know that if you are not left to, or if you are left to your own devices, you're not going to eat. So they're going to say, hey, listen, kiddies, there's going to be 30 minutes of your day where you're going to be put in a cafeteria. And there's going to be food all around you. And you better eat. This is the time, this is the eating time where you have to go do stuff. I, in high school, spent a lot of time in the library. This was the day before smartphones and the whatnot. So if you wanted computer time, if you wanted to write stuff, or if I had math problems to do or physics problems to do, I went to the library during my lunch hour. Sneak a bag of chips or something. And maybe that's where it stems from. But there have to be other people that all of a sudden it's almost quitting time from school or your job, and you're like, holy shit, I haven't eaten anything all day. Have I eaten anything? And you do that little mental math, like, wait a minute, okay, let's go through the day. What have I consumed? All right, well, there's 2 cups of coffee, all right, and then some water, yeah, and then that's it. Somebody offered you food, you offered to go to lunch, and you said no because you had work to do or there was stuff going on, or you just didn't feel like. And all of a sudden you don't eat, and then you feel like shit when you get home, and you're cranky, and when you feel like crap, you get cranky. And it's okay because you feel like crap. And other people come up to you and ask you, are you okay? What's wrong? And that's the worst part too, is well-meaning people, loved ones perhaps, that notice something amiss with you, but you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to talk about how bad you feel. You don't want to talk about why you're holding back, I don't know, puke or a cough or a sneeze. You don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Are you okay? And your answer is no, I'm not okay, because you don't feel good. You feel bad. And these well-meaning people, they want to help you, and they go up to you and say, are you okay? And you say, well, no. They say, well, what's wrong? You say, I don't want to talk about it. I just want to lay down. Or I just need to go to the bathroom. What's wrong? Oh, just leave me alone. And the worst part is that if you're just like, I don't want to talk about it, leave me alone, or you don't respond to what's wrong, you're the asshole. But it's like, no, I don't want to open my mouth, because if I open my mouth, I'm afraid something other than words are going to come out. Or if I don't get to the bathroom right now, there's going to be bad times. There's bad times ahead for everybody. And you feel even worse because you're looking at somebody who's trying to help you, and you're just saying, no, no, get the fuck away from me. Get the fuck away from me. You don't have the time to articulate. You ever had that where you don't have the time to articulate, no, thank you for trying to help me. there's nothing you can really do. I just need to lay down. That would be the end of it. They would say, oh, okay. But you don't have time for that because you're cranky and you feel like shit. And so you just, oh, get away from me. Get away from me. Oh, my God, this is awful. Oh, my God, this is awful. Oh, I need to lay down. Oh, I need to go to the bathroom. Blah, 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 blah. And I looked at all of it. I'm so fucking dumb. And we as humans can be, I say it all the time, our consciousness is both one of the greatest thing about us as a species. Our consciousness, our sense of self, our sense of object permanence, I think is one one really cool thing that we have. It's the greatest thing. It is a stepping stone to advancement. This is but a stepping stone on the evolutionary cycle, or on the evolutionary path, or on a evolutionary path, and we've got it. And we are all alive in a time where we can kind of understand our own consciousness. We can kind of understand the reasons why we can say something and comprehend a complex thought such as, I think, therefore I am. And it's really cool. It's also the bane of our existence. It's also the absolute bane of our existence. It might be better in some cases to just be lobotomized and just walk around like a fucking robot. And you have nothing. There's no drive, there's no personality, there's none of the things that hang up everyday interactions. There's no libido. I'm assuming, I believe that's what happens in a frontal lobotomy. There's no libido, there's no personality, there's no such thing as being jealous or conceited or anything like that. You're just a drone. And you just walk around and do things, and you live your life, and you get to experience things. You still have some of your senses, I would believe, but you don't have to deal with any of the other bullshit that goes along with whatever happens in the frontal part of your brain. All the complex shit that supposedly happens, which we don't even know anymore. We don't know yet. We think, yeah, it's something in there. It's doing something, maybe. We don't know. And you don't have to deal with any of that. You don't... The ills of the world cease to matter to you. You don't have to worry about people appealing to you about starving children in Africa, or you don't have to worry. You've got none of the things that hang up every normal everyday human existence. Being a social human, you've got nothing to deal with in that respect. It's got to be nice in some ways to be lobotomized, or similarly speaking, autistic. Just, yeah, these things don't matter to me. These social cues you speak of, they don't exist. I don't know. Yeah, no, they don't. That concept, no, doesn't mean anything to me. I have no idea what you're talking about. What you mean? You mean like I have to say I feel compelled to say thank you all the time for everything? No, that doesn't exist to me. It just doesn't happen. I don't get that concept. Why would you even do that? That makes little to no sense to me. It must be nice, in some respects. I'm sure somebody out there that's like, I wish I could feel this way. I say, no. There's a lot of bullshit that we deal with. There's a lot of bullshit that humans have to deal with, or that quote, normal. I used quotes ever so loosely there. There's crazy shit that we have to deal with. Crazy shit that we do as a result of these things. You know, I was looking around, and with all this stuff, cruising through Reddit and CNN and all kinds of news apps, I'm seeing all the things that have been going on with the Israeli-Palestine conflict, and with all the offenses and the offensive and that the Israeli army or the Israeli Defense Force is mounting, and Hamas is firing rockets back, and Israel is shelling UN encampments, and while some of UN funded things are used as ammunition stores by Hamas, and blah, 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 blah. But no, also there's people, well, I mean, there's people there, yes, and there's civilians, refugees, children in these places, but we think there might be rockets there, so we're just going to shell the shit out of it and fuck you anyway because we're Israel. And it's to the point. It's to the point where how could anybody, here's how silly being a human is. How could anybody side with anybody in that situation? Anybody, either of them, the Hamas and the Palestinians, the Palestinian radicals, or the Israelis. How could anybody side with either of them? Either of them. This religious feud, this blood feud that's been going on for generations, for millennia, over a strip of land that they believe to be holy and sacred. How could anybody, to the point where if you're Hamas and you're effectively using innocent civilian families as human shields for your weapon stores, you barricade yourselves in an apartment complex and then bring in families to fill out the other units in that apartment complex, and you say, ha-ha, Israel, you won't bomb us now because there's innocent civilians here. You say, what the fuck? That's not cool. But then Israel fucking bombs the innocent civilians. You go, what the fuck are you doing, Israel? And they say, what? There's people over there, there's bad guys. They say, yeah, but there's innocent people over there. Say, oh, well, blah, 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 human shields, war crimes. And it's, just... How could anybody, if you're in a synagogue, I don't care if you're in a synagogue in Hollywood. How in the fuck, when Israel starts shelling a Palestinian hospital, just a hospital, and starts shelling the shit out of it, firing rockets, doing whatever it is they do. How could you in any way condone that? Anyway, I don't care that you believe in the same fictitious bullshit man in the sky as the crazy people that live there. No. Don't give me that bullshit. Don't give me that bullshit of, oh, well, one Israel, all for one for all, and the satellite state, and oh my goodness, it's attacking our religion, and blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear that. Be a human first. Because this construct, the reasons that anybody would side with either Israel or Hamas, because Palestine isn't really like a thing. The reasons that anybody would side with either of them are entirely human constructs, whether they be religion, whether they be the notion of the political handlers trying to sell aid, the billions in aid sent to Israel. I believe it's $3.1 billion. $3.1 billion a year sent to people that shell fucking hospitals. Okay? And it's because, well, yeah, they shell hospitals. But they were a satellite state. They were created by another country they were beholden to, or another group of people they were beholden to in a hostile land, and they just want independence from blah, 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 and they're fighting for land, and they don't want to deal with all this crap, and whatever. All those things, all those political reasons, born from religion, by the way, all those political reasons for supporting the Jewish state, or all the religious reasons for supporting Hamas from the other side, because I'm sure there are many Islamic countries that have both religious and political reasons for supporting those people there. It's a satellite war, or it's a war by proxy for many people. And all the reasons that that anybody supports any of them are entire human constructs. And it's bullshit. Because you look at, and you say, wait a minute. Wait, you guys are shelling kids, right? Israel? Well, yeah. And Hamas, you're using innocent civilians as effective human shields, right? As meat shields for your rockets and stuff to fight the evil Jews, right? Or what you believe to be the evil Jews, right? They say, well, yeah, both of you are fucked up. No, not I choose one over the other. Not, oh, the evil this and the freedom fighters that. Both of you are fucked up, degenerate assholes, and I don't want anything to do with you. Nobody should have anything to do with you. None of you are getting funding. None of you are getting funding for anything. Go fuck yourselves. Because you've gotten to the point, you've whipped yourselves up to the point where you are justifying and rationalizing using human shields, packing rockets into the basement of schools that you know will be targeted by Israel in the next bombardment phase. And Israel, you're fucking bombing children and you're bombing hospitals where innocent civilians are just seeking shelter or trying to visit injured loved ones. You're both fucking crazy. This is like where if you're trying to be an impartial third party to like a relationship breakup and they both give you their sides and you're like, the both of you are crazy. The both of you are nuts. No, yeah, he cheated on you, but you're also incredibly passive aggressive and narcissistic, and you demean him at any given time, and you make him feel like less of a human. The both of you are responsible for this relationship being a piece of shit. Both of you are responsible for that. Israel and Palestine, Hamas and the Israeli Defense Force are both to blame for awful things. There's no rhyme or reason to defending one over the other. There's no rhyme or reason to defending any of them because they both do fucked up shit. But people still try. They say, oh, look at the evil Israelis, or oh, look at the evil Palestinians. And how anybody could support one over the other. And for many people, or for a small enclave, many people are like, wait, hey, evil Israel, man, how could anybody support them? And I say, no. If you're going to point the finger at Israel for doing fucked up shit, which is totally reasonable because they do fucked up shit, you also similarly have to point the finger at the people on the other side, on the Palestinian side, who do fucked up shit as well. There's fucked up shit being done on both sides. Incredibly fucked up shit. Shelling civilian hospitals is a war crime. Probably. At least it should be. Hague Convention or something like that. Similarly, bringing in, let's not even talk about war crimes. Let's talk about morality for a second. Shelling civilian hospitals, go fuck yourself. That's my moral statement on it. Moral, immoral, blah, 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 blah. No. Go fuck yourself if you do that. Similarly, bringing in children and bringing in civilian families to live above your rocket stores because you hope that Israel will not shell those caches because of the civilians that you brought in to live there, go fuck yourself. I saw the other day that Israel and Palestine were trying to reach an agreement for a 12-hour or 12-day ceasefire. And I remarked on Twitter, I said, well, is it because they've run out of innocent civilians to target, both of them? Because you'd read all the time Palestinian rockets or Hamas rockets found their way into a civilian thing, found their way into a civilian encampment in Israel. Israeli shells falling upon this UN-backed civilian refugee camp. And then you get things like Israelis shouting, there's no school today, chanting, there's no school today because all the Palestinian children are dead. And they're like, yeah, oppa! It's Greek, but you get the idea. And everybody's happy. People are chanting for the death of children. Chanting! Into like a square, being like, yeah, dead kids, woohoo! Yeah, we got all those little brown little bastards, little shitbirds. Now, you know, if you listen for the show, I'm nothing if not able to make the case for corporal punishment for little shitbag kids every once in a while. So violence against children is not something that immediately closes me off to you. However, when you're standing in a town square screaming for and chanting for and reveling in the blowing up of children, fuck you. Fuck you. Just fuck all of it. Just nuke it all. Nuke all of it. Just everything. Just send in just one. That's all you need. Airburst it, because you don't need to be, especially with sand. I don't even know if sand is. Will that create more fallout because there's a lot of sand in that region? If you ground burst a nuclear weapon, would that kick up because sand is very fine? Would that create more irradiated fallout? I don't even know. So you got to airburst it just to be safe and just wipe them all out. All of them. All of them. And yes, there will be some innocent people, a lot of innocent people taken there, but the world will be better off probably in 5,000 years if everybody on both sides that are taking part, if you can do it with surgical strikes, fine, but a nuke, you're taking healthy tissue, but you're sure you're getting all the tumor. Just nuke it all. And let's start over. Just let the world should come together and say, both of you are fucked up and both of you are getting nuked because you are so incredibly fucked up about this entire thing. Every single day you go and you read something about the Israel-Palestinian conflict or Israeli-Palestinian conflict, you're going to find crazy shit done by both sides. You're going to find things done by both sides where you say, whoa, really? You actually did that? You're going to say, yeah, but, it's because of the blah and the dun, the humana. Fuck both of you. There's no way, no justifiable case to be made for defending either people in this regard. None. Just fucking none. Nuke it. Start it all over. No more of this, like, we're going to separate you two because they'll find a way to fight anyway. Or they're going to bitch and cry and lobby for more guns and blah, 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 and then they'll trek all the way back to try to invade the former land to take it back. Just nuke them all. Tell the civilians, if you want to get out now. You got 5 days. Then we're going to nuke this fucking place and make sure that it's irradiated for the next couple of generations so that none of you, fine, you want this land? Oh, it's your holy... Fine, have it. If you can deal with the radiation, you can have it. But something tells me that they wouldn't want to deal... Somehow, for some reason... Those religious sites would immediately become less interesting and less apple of their eye-ish if they were completely irradiated. And they had to deal with radiation if they wanted to live there and praise their god or whatever aspects of their religion are embodied in those areas. It's gotten to the point, we can do some news in a bit, it's gotten to the point where both sides are so irrevocably sullied. Both sides, Israel and the Israeli Defense Force, Palestine and Hamas, both sides have incredibly sullied themselves. They have devalued themselves past the point of being savable. You've got no. There's nothing for you. There's nothing to good from humanity that will come from allowing these two things to continue to happen. Again, both sides. Not like, get Israel out of there, or get Palestine out of there. No. Both of you need to go. If you need to retreat to the far corners of the world, fine. But the best way to do it would just be a simple nuclear, 5 megaton warhead, just airbursted over that entire strip of land. Just get rid of it all. Wipe the slate clean. Let's start over again. Because both of these sides have used religion, have used politics, have used whatever to try to fuck each other so badly that they're not justifying shelling civilian encampments, firing rockets at civilians. And it's, no more for either of you. You're both done. You're both cut off. Israel and Palestine, get the fuck out of my bar. You're both way too drunk. You need to go home. We need to cut them both off. Cut them both off. All right, let's do some news. We got a lot to talk about in the news today. We've got an LGBT job fair tweaking its registration process to prevent offensive straight kids from joining, from attending. Kayakers breach the secure area at JFK International Airport, and companies proclaim water to be the next oil in a rush to turn resources into profit. A West Monroe, Texas high school is spending $750,000 on a new scoreboard, and Southwest Fresno leaders criticize hiring of white teacher for Gaston School's cultural studies. It's the news with Lefty. Let's talk about all the news. Now, there's two ways to go here. I can attack political correctness or attack the very safety that you feel when flying this nation's airways. Let's attack your feeling of safety. How's that? This is from the New York Post, so take it perhaps with a bit of a grain of salt or maybe a thimble of salt, not just a single grain. A couple grains, more than a couple grains of salt. Go with this New York Post story. Kayakers breach secure area at JFK Airport. Two kayakers adrift in Jamaica Bay with just one paddle unwittingly breached Kennedy Airport's $300 million perimeter detection system. They could have been spotted by a patrol boat, except there wasn't one. Port Authority boats don't patrol the bay at night, police sources said. Jordan Crooms of Rosedale, Queens, and Anthony Giglio of Inwood, Long Island, set out at 11:30 p.m. Friday from a park in Inwood across the bay from the airport. We were just kayaking at night, Crooms explained. The duo lost two paddles when their three-man kayak rolled over. We had one paddle left, Crooms said. We were going toward the closest spot to the shore. They washed up on a swampy area that juts out from the end of Kennedy's runway 4L, said Port Authority police sources. The airport's perimeter detection system failed to detect the pair. Workers maintaining runway safety equipment found the men at 1:40 a.m. Saturday and turned them over to cops. Crooms and Giglio, both 21, got summonses for trespassing and were released. Port Authority boat patrols around Kennedy and LaGuardia airports were canceled last year to save money, although some patrols resumed last month after a boat crashed into runway approach lights at LaGuardia when its captain abandoned the helm to participate in a three-way sex romp, sources said. Well, you know, if you gotta go, might as well go for a three-way. Nighttime patrols around Kennedy have yet to be restored, police sources said. Once again, a perimeter security breach at JFK Airport raises serious concerns about the Port Authority's perimeter intrusion detection system, says a PAPBA, a system the PAPBA believes is a failure. Said a spokesman for the Port Authority Police Union. The PA has the vessels purchased with federal funds and Coast Guard certified Marine police officers to perform a 24-hour Marine perimeter patrol with rescue capability. Now, I bring the story up not to poke fun at the guy's name Giglio, which is funny unto itself. I bet you he's a funny guy, Giglio. Perhaps easy to make laugh. My point is this. The New York Port Authority spent $300 million for a perimeter detection system, supposedly, to detect just these kinds of things. People trying to surreptitiously enter airport grounds without proper clearance. Because, as we are told, the reason that all these things, all these suspensions of individual liberties at airports throughout the world, especially going to America where the TSA is fucking getting your ass. I believe if you go to London Heathrow, and you're flying to an American destination, there are TSA agents in London who are going to search you. The long arm, the long dick of the U.S. law, the long cock of the Homeland Security team is everywhere. It's all over the joint. And we're told the reason for all that, the reason for your bags being searched, the reason for the pat-downs, the genitalia touching of fucking children, the reason for the what was originally X-ray backscatter and is now supposedly safe microwave, which, okay, sure. The reason for all that is because flying oh my goodness, the things that could be done. Like I always say, when people say, oh, flying is one of the safest things to do, statistically speaking, I say, yeah, but I've survived 3 car accidents, no problem. I mean, I got hurt. I was in the hospital for a bit. Bastard and his stupid sneezing attack. But I survived. Odds are, if my plane is involved in a plane accident, I'm not going to survive. When things go wrong, sure, the sheer number of deaths versus the sheer number of opportunities for death is low. But let's talk about the death rate when something goes wrong. Let's talk about that. And I'll bet dollars to donuts that rate is much, much higher than any form of transportation in the world. Fucking hang gliding is probably safer. Or shit, skydiving. When something goes wrong on a plane, you're pretty much dead. And that's one of the reasons for all this. Say, it's so easy. When you're on a plane, you're resting on a precipice of danger. And you're not in a valley. You're at a peak. And you just need to be nudged over that peak, in the graphical sense, if you think about it, to fall all the way down and, oh my God, shit's really wrong now. And so that's the reason. Look, it's incredibly dangerous. This is why we need to restrict access. This is why we need to make sure that you're not bringing anything bad onto the plane, even though scientists have said countless times, like, you're not making a chemical bomb with anything. That's just not a thing. That's not really how it works. That's the reason for all of it. That's the reason why if you linger around an airport, a police officer is going to show up and start asking you some fucking questions. And you're lucky if it's just a police officer and not, say, a federal agent. Homeland Security officers or TSA agents, I believe, are classified as federal agents. And the reason for all of that is security, because, oh my God, something so bad can go so wrong in the skies. But here we got two guys who had the bright idea to go kayaking in a 3-person kayak at near midnight in New York. Why they wanted to do that, I have no idea. But it's 11:30. Hey, Bill, what do you want to do? Let's go kayaking. Yes, I like it. Let's do it. Let's fucking roll. So these two geniuses, Nobel laureate candidates all, decided to go out and kayak, rolled themselves over, then rolled back over, and with one paddle breached a security system that was installed and paid for under the guise of, oh my God, flying is so dangerous, it would be so easy if somebody wanted to do something. This is why we need to do all this shit to fuck with you. This is why we need to have you open your bags. This is why we need to cup your balls. This is why we need to, at one time, blast you with X-ray. This is why we need to do all these things, because, oh my God, it's so dangerous and something can go wrong and it's going to go really wrong. And two guys, one from Brooklyn, or one from Queens and the other from Long Island, breached a $300 million security system. I saw a picture on Reddit. There was a series of pictures that you had probably never before seen. And somewhere in the world, there is a runway with a street that passes over it or passes on it. Not one of those like under overpass things. No. This is a flat piece of land, and if you imagine two long stretches of concrete at 90 degrees connected at the center. At that center, there are what would be used to stop cars from crossing a railroad at a railroad crossing. There are gates that come down with flashing lights and all this stuff, and traffic has to stop as a plane crosses perpendicular to the direction of traffic. That's on a fucking runway at an airport. Now, never mind the security of we got to cup your balls and do the thing and turn to the left and cough and do all these things because we have to protect everybody. If somebody was so inclined, what would stop them, say, from just, I'm a member of Al-Qaeda, and I just so happened to be passing by, and I got stopped at this. It was a fit of road rage, really, because I was late for work. I was late for the terrorist training, and I really had to get to work. And then I was getting caught by every fucking light you can imagine. Every single light turned red. It was ridiculous. And so I'd had enough when the gate came down and I saw the plane going by. So I hopped in the back of my truck, picked up my RPG and shot it in the fuselage where the jet fuel ignited and burned everybody aboard. And I screamed, "Allah Akbar!" because I just had enough. It was a crazy day. It was an absolutely crazy day. You think you're safe. And you think that we spend all this money, billions in security, billions yearly, $300 million for one airport security system, 300, and that's just the perimeter for the water, $300 million, one airport. And we spend billions a year, billions of taxpayer dollars for all these things that supposedly make us safe. And no, we're not. There's no such thing as being truly safe. All the things, all the ball touching, all the backscatter, all those things mean nothing. Because if somebody were truly motivated, if somebody truly wanted to wage a war by shooting down or in some way interfering with American air travel, there are many ways to do it. 2 assholes from New York breached a $300 million security system. What if they wanted to start fucking with stuff? What if, instead of not knowing where the fuck they were guys that were like, yeah, I want to go fuck with some stuff. And they just went and started fucking with things. Let's say it was some real Ocean's 11 type shit, and they had the coveralls already, and they just walked onto the tarmac like they were regular people. Like they were supposed to be there. You think you're safe, and you wrap yourself up in this blanket of safety, and you think, well, I'm giving away these rights and these liberties for a good reason. No, you're not. There's no good reason. Because the people that supposedly wish to do you harm could do you harm anywhere. Anywhere. Especially with respect to planes. So don't try to I reject the notion that these are all for good reasons. This is all for good. All for the good. This is why there needs to be a picture of Vern fucking Troyer having his balls lifted and touched by a TSA agent because, Vern Troyer, mini-me, you might be a mini bomb. You know what I'm saying? I reject the notion that this could in any way be good. That, this will keep us safe. No, it won't keep us safe. Because you know what you won't stop? A really motivated guy who will just drive up as close as he can and start fucking with planes as they come off the runway on a takeoff or on a landing. Do you realize how close you can get to planes? Does anybody stop to think, I'm being safe because my balls are touched. Yay! I feel good, too. It's good. But does anybody stop to think, wait a minute, how close can somebody realistically get to the plane that I'm about to board, whether on takeoff or landing? How close can somebody get? 400 feet? 400-foot radius from the ground? Swept all the way around? Could they get within that little hemisphere? Or is the plane going to pass through that hemisphere? If you think about it, probably. Go to any major airport in America and look at a map. Just look at a map and figure out how close you can get. People love to go to, there's a vacation destination where there's a runway carved into a valley, a mountain range valley. And the planes have to come within, it looks like 150 feet on approach. They come in and they just land right over, they fly right over the beach. And it's really cool. Rich white people go there all the time and say, yeah, look at these big fucking jetliners full. Oh no, they don't fully fuel them anymore because they've got to save money. But they once were fully fueled with jet fuel. Look at that, and it's 150 feet above me. Huh. Yeah. I feel so safe now because the high school dropout, when I go to get back on the plane to leave this vacation paradise, is going to feel my balls. I feel so safe. I should feel safe. Yay! Security, security, security. There's no security. There's no reason to feel safe. It's all bullshit. All of it is bullshit. Because if somebody were truly motivated to fuck with you on your plane, they're going to fuck with you on your plane. You're giving up, and you're giving up my rights. You are forfeiting my rights for me because you're too dumb to stop and think, oh yeah, that access road does go really fucking close to the runway. And the way planes land is they are very, very gradual in their descent because, they're planes, and they don't want to just drop onto the fucking runway. So there's going to be a lot of residential or at least non-controlled airport land that they're flying over and getting really, really close to the ground, and both on takeoff and approach. Oh, security. Yay. Go America, right? Yeah, now go back there into that shroud and let that overweight black chick lift your nutsack. And then go read the Constitution and see how you feel. In other news, another politically correct bullshit news, an LGBT job fair tweaks registration process to prevent offensive straight kids from attending. It's from campusreform.org. When it comes to finding a job after graduation, business students are throwing their sexual orientation into the mix as well. Reaching Out MBA, an annual conference of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender graduate business students, completes its 3-day lineup of speakers and workshops with a job fair that is becoming increasingly exclusive. According to Matt Kidd, executive director of Reaching Out MBA, 10% of the 1,100 attendees at last year's conference identified as straight. Because of that, this year's attendees are now required to submit an essay on why they wish to attend the conference or be recommended through campus LGBT organizations so that the conference can vet potential attendees. Kidd told Bloomberg Businessweek that the conference wasn't trying to exclude LGBT allies and also recognized that several conference attendees come from large Southern MBA programs where the LGBT students may not feel as readily accepted and may not be as readily apt to divulge their sexual preference. But Kidd said that the straight students attending the job fair were offensive, as LGBT-identifying students overheard things such as, "Dude, I'm not gay," or "There needs to be less focus on gay stuff at this event." Because, right, it's offensive to say, "Oh, I'm not gay." That's offensive. Is it? No, hold on. I read this before. I read this article before I started recording the show, and it didn't register with me before, but now it does. So this Matt Kidd, it's somewhere out there, this Matt Kidd asshole and some other Lotus Flower special being was offended by somebody saying, "Oh, I'm not gay." Dude, I'm not gay. Which means, or probably means, that he was asked whether the student was asked whether they were gay. The person was asked whether they were gay. And whoa, wait a minute. Hold on now. Our political correctness has gotten so far down the bullshit drain that heterosexuals are now being shamed for saying they're not homosexual. No, thanks. I'm good. I don't want to go so far. I don't want to grab the pendulum and swing it back because people aren't going to like what I have to say. But holy mother of fucking God, spaghetti monster, non-existent Jesus, it's now offensive for a heterosexual to say, "I'm not gay." Are we serious? And nobody's like, the article should end there. The article should go on an incredible tangent at that moment. Be like, look at what the fuck somebody actually thinks. This person votes, and they've got a degree from somewhere. And they're going around saying, "I'm offended because somebody's a heterosexual said they're not gay. Give me some dick. This is too much. I need dick." But Kidd said that straight students... Oh, no. The next paragraph. The Reaching Out MBA conference includes events such as LGBT Talent Career Expo, a Women in Diversity reception, and personal finances for LGBTQs panel. But Chiquita Allen... Really? Come on. I'm a Chiquita banana and enough to say... That's how she should introduce, "I am Chiquita Allen and I'm here to say..." That's how she should walk into every room doing a nice samba dance like that and introduce herself as the Chiquita Banana, or say everything in the Chiquita Banana tempo and tune. But Chiquita Allen, executive director of the Career Management Center at William & Mary's Business School, disagrees with Kidd. "There are recruiters at the job fair who are happy to talk to anyone that's talented," she said. "The idea of those groups is to ensure inclusiveness, not to say we only want LGBT people." According to a study from George Mason University released last month, only 63.4% of youth 18 to 29 years old are employed. The youth unemployment rate is at 15.4%. A representative from Reaching Out MBA did not respond to multiple requests for comment from Campus Reform. So here we have, in political correctness run amok, an LGBT conference saying, "Get out of here, heteros. We're going to put up barriers to heterosexuals attending this job fair." It's a job fair. The goal is not to preach awareness about LGBT. It's not to further LGBT agendas, however noble they may be. The goal is to find people to hire. And here we have an LGBT organization putting up a barrier and saying, no heteros, effectively. We are going to quell the number of heteros attending this job fair because, oh my goodness, it's so wrong. And again, I want to do nothing else. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want anybody hurt. I just want to play a thought experiment game. And this is all I want to do. I don't want to change any material fact other than let's assume it was a heterosexual conference. Not just a regular job fair. Not just any old job fair you just show up on the quad at the student union and walk through and you put on your cheap business suit and try to impress people. Give out your resume that you typed up the night before over a couple beers. No. This is a job fair or a conference culminating in a job fair specifically for heterosexuals. Specifically, laid out. This is about heterosexuals. And because of the number of homos you found attending the conference last year, you're now putting up a barrier to entry saying you need to tell us to write an essay as to why you want to be part of this, why you need to be a part of this heterosexual job fair. Just that's it. Nothing else. Nothing else. Just reverse it. Is there anything that would that, pray tell, would that change at all the public's reaction to this? Would this be, say, a national story on CNN? Look at the evil heterosexuals and what they're doing to the homosexuals. Would this be a national news story overnight? It probably would be, right? It'd get a lot of play, a lot of airtime. If there was a devout and openly heterosexual group putting on a pro-heterosexual job fair and trying to vet out homosexuals. Because that's what the essay thing is. Well, there's too many heterosexuals attending this LGBT job fair. So we are going to make sure that you are in fact homosexual before you are able to participate in these activities. Now imagine if a heterosexual group did that. Is it? Are we just, does that jibe? Now if you flip it, it jibes. All right then. Oh, something dropped? No? All right. If you flip it and it jibes, okay. But to me, it doesn't. To me, when you flip it around and you go with the heterosexuals trying to vet out the homosexuals or the transgender, whatever, when you flip it around, you go, oh, shit, this is wrong. That would be incredibly wrong. To try to specifically deny somebody entry to this job fair, especially, I shouldn't even have to mention this, but especially when only 60-some-odd% of college-aged kids, young people, are employed, you're excluding people based on their sexual identity, on their, I don't want to say sexual orientation. I was going to say sexual preference, but it's not a preference because being gay is not a choice, as I understand the research to say. You're denying people entry to this job fair based on their sexual orientation, and that's wrong. That's wrong. Heteroism, homoism, prejudice. No, you're denying people entry based on their sexual orientation. That's wrong. It should not matter that it's LGBT vetting out heterosexuals. It shouldn't matter. You're denying people entry based on their sexual orientation. Wrong. Nobody should, these people should be vilified. Matt Kidd, executive director of Reaching Out MBA, vilified. Reaching Out MBA, vilified. A prejudiced, hateful group. Speaking of prejudiced, hateful groups, Southwest, this is from the Fresno Bee. It's Bee. Bzz, bzz. Bzz. Southwest Fresno leaders criticize hiring of white teacher for Gaston School's cultural studies. With just weeks before the new Rutherford B. Gaston Middle School opens in Southwest Fresno, community and church leaders are calling on Fresno United School District to reconsider its hiring of a white teacher to instruct African American, Latino, and Southeast Asian studies there. At an early morning news conference Monday, a small group of concerned citizens led by Reverend Karen Crozier met in front of the school on Church Avenue and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. People at the gathering said the new school, which is the first Southwest Fresno middle school in decades, needs teachers who reflect the ethnic and racial background of its students. Crozier and others were dismayed to learn the person hired to teach the school's 3 cultural studies classes is white. District officials initially considered hiring a teacher of color, she said, but ultimately hired Peter Beck, a former teacher at Hoover High School. We're just saying what the community wants. We don't fight for a white male or female student to educate our babies. Or we didn't fight for a white male or female teacher to educate our babies, Crozier said. We still are at these racial fault lines, and we want someone who will be able to think critically about those racial fault lines and how do we help heal to restore the problems that may have existed or that have existed. District spokeswoman Michelle Golden did not confirm any details about who the district interviewed for the position, but she said Beck was the best pick for the job and one of only 4 teachers in Fresno Unified with experience teaching the 3 cultural studies classes he'll be responsible for at Gaston. He has a decade of experience teaching Latino studies courses and 2 years of experience teaching African American courses, Golden said. Beck also has led Hoover's Men's Alliance for 4 years, a leadership class for at-risk teens. Golden did not know how many years Beck has taught Southeast Asian studies classes. Now, this is a speech starting out. This is Reverend Karen Crozier out in front of speaking to reporters. This is a speech. We'll run it for you here.
My name is Reverend Dr. Karen Crozier. I am the chair of the West Fresno Ministerial Alliance Education Committee, as well as a member at New Light for New Life Church of God under the leadership of Pastor Paul McCoy in West Fresno. And I would like to begin by sharing Frederick Douglass, the late great abolitionist, orator, and freedom fighter, stated, "Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never has and it never will." Today, I, as an African-American native of and minister in West Fresno, am calling on Fresno Unified to hire African-American and Latino educators for African-American and Latino studies. This demand is based on personal and professional experience and is consistent with many concerned ministers, leaders, parents, and residents, both within and beyond West Fresno. As a former teacher in the district in West Fresno back in the late 90s, I know the power and responsibility of being an African-American role model and a safe space for students of African-American descent.
All right, that's enough from this racist bitch. So here we have blatant racism, okay? Because again, the best way to go about this is just flip the roles. Change nothing else. Don't change the message. Don't change anything else. Assume, or let's just play a game in which this was not somebody, a black person clamoring for the hiring of another black person at a school to teach some litany of courses. Imagine this was a group of white people standing out in front of the school, clamoring for the school district to hire another white guy. That's it. Just flip the script. Flip the script. And is this a story? Flip the script. Does this get any play nationally, or what kind of play nationally, and with what spin? All of a sudden now, we're so conceited that there's no such thing as racism when it's going against whitey, or when it's going against heterosexual. There's no such thing as prejudice that way in the previous story we just talked about. Because how dare we think that this Reverend Dr. whatever bitch racist is actually racist? How dare we think that clamoring for trying to get somebody to lose their job so that somebody of color based only on race, not on ability, can get that same job? Do you need to fire this person because of their race and hire this person because of their race? That's racism. Racism is racism, and this is why when I talked about when I talked about Tony Dungy's comments, homophobia, and the use of homophobia and the term, this is why I singled out racism as being great, because racist and racism, despite any definitions you may have, are content neutral. It's neutral as to which way racism is pointed. Racism is not any, it's like the blind lady of justice. It does not carry with it any overreaching implications about how it is to be used, a la homophobia. There's homophobia, but is there heterophobia? Because what happened with the LGBT business conference, I would classify, if there was such a thing, as heterophobia. But there isn't, because, oh my God, how could you dare think that the homos would ever discriminate against heterosexuals? Oh my God, that can't happen because liberal. We must save the LGBT community and the transgenders and the cis and non-cis or whatever the fuck special lotus flowers say they are. That can never happen. But with racism, it's great because racism is just racism. There's no blackism or African Americanism or Asianism or Orientalism, as I said in the show talking about Tony Dungy. There's none of that. There's no whiteism. It's just racism. But we have allowed blatant racism to exist. Again, imagine what would happen if this was a white pastor in Fresno, California, clamoring for another white guy to be hired and for the firing of somebody who was hired to teach, I don't know, some white course, business maybe, I don't know, whatever, Jewish American studies or what's something that's really, really white, Anglo-Saxon studies, Western European history. There we go, huh? Can't be pissed about that, can you? Northern European history? You say, no, we need a white guy to teach this. We need a white guy. Imagine if that was a reverend doctor standing out in front making an impassioned case, a passionate case for their female too. Got to be female because, you know, just we're just flipping the race card here, just turning it over. Imagine if that was just a white girl saying you need to fire the black guy and hire a white guy. Wouldn't that would be racist, right? It would be, oh my God, you're a racist and you're doing all these things and how could you do it and you're so racist and oh my goodness. But it's a group of black people and so it's just, oh yeah, well, cultural identifying with the students. Never mind the fact that in their capacity as quote educators, the school board interviewed people and found this guy, this white guy they actually hired to be the best candidate. Never mind that. And that's part of the reason probably why our school system fucking blows in America. Why are we so fucking stupid and uneducated? Because we waste time letting racists make education decisions based on race rather than the best available prospect. In the NFL, they say, you know, one draft approach is the best prospect available, the best NFL prospect available. You don't draft for position. If you're in the market for a running back, and you let's say a top quarterback prospect falls to you in the second round, and you're in the market for a running back, there are NFL draft approaches where you say you take the best athlete available, the best prospect available. And you might not be in the market for a quarterback, but you take the first round NFL quarterback prospect that fell to you because holy fucking shit, it's like winning the lottery. Yeah, we'll find a running back later. This is like we're picking another again in the first round. You take the best available rather than drafting out of need. What we've done with our school system in America is we've started drafting out of need. We've just started, oh, well, we need to hire more black teachers. We need to hire more Latino teachers. We need to hire more women, more gays, more whatever the push button topic is in that area, whatever it is, minorities of whatever kind, religious, non-religious, male, female, doesn't matter. Whatever it is, we've started hiring out of need. Well, we need more black people in the teaching roles. We need more Latinos, we need more and we've sacrificed educating ability, we've sacrificed experience, we've sacrificed all those things to satisfy the superficial needs of an increasingly liberal society. where, it doesn't matter how good or bad they are at teaching, so long as they're a different color skin from X percentage of your other teachers. As long as they've got a different color of skin or different genitalia, or they like a different kind of genitalia, as long as that happens, it doesn't matter if they fucking suck at teaching. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Fuck that. No. I need to push my agenda of equality, and you need to hire based on race. But you need to hire black people based on their race, because that's not racist somehow. We've sacrificed our educational system on the altar of political correctness. Because here we have a woman, Reverend Doctor, in some way, in some field. She reached a high honor in some field of study. Probably not medicinal. Because if you turn down being a doctor to go be a reverend, holy shit, that's some powerful Jesus juice right there. Here we have a woman saying, never mind this teacher's qualifications. Never mind that. You need to hire somebody to teach these courses, not based on their ability to teach their courses, but on the color of their skin, on their ethnic or racial background. A very smart woman is saying this, and people are going, yeah! And we wonder why we're fucking stupid. And we wonder why our educational system blows. Because when you couple this, when you couple hiring teachers based on a rubric of political correctness, and you couple that with underfunding the schools. So you say, you got to hire shitty teachers, and then you got to perhaps hire shitty teachers, shittier teachers than you could have, theoretically speaking, if you were able to hire anybody not based solely on race, creed, or gender. You got to hire those people, and then you can't pay them. You can't pay them at all, because there's no money. So when you force people to work on a nickel budget, you force schools to be on a nickel budget while you're spending billions funding a satellite state or fighting a proxy war with people shelling UN civilian encampments. You spend $3 billion a fucking year doing that, or you spend another couple $100 billion fighting wars throughout the Middle East. When you do that instead of funding schools, and then say, oh yeah, by the way, when you do hire teachers, when you're able to goad somebody from academia, from the halls of academia, to come teach for you, you better hire them based on their racial and ethnic background, not on their ability to do effectively, or their experience effectively teaching whatever subject it is you're hiring for. You can't do that. You can't do that. Otherwise, you'll have assholes outside of your school protesting you, and they'll probably win because, well, they're a minority and you're not. So good luck. Educate the kids. Have fun. Oh, by the way, there's all these standardized tests now that you have to teach too. Otherwise, we're going to cut your funding. So good luck. Have fun. And we wonder why we're behind, why our kids are dumb, why we're dumb. I'm dumb. This is part of the reason why. Because we've sacrificed our educational system. We've sacrificed the hiring of teachers. We've sacrificed the compensation of teachers on all kinds of altars of bullshit. It's not about compensating teachers, good teachers, smart teachers who are teaching and creating intelligent, hardworking, knowledgeable students. They're not heroes, but they do that, and they do good work. There are good teachers out there. I've had plenty. And you know one of the reasons why they were good? Because they weren't hired just because of their race, just because of their ethnicity, just because of their gender, and they were, relatively speaking, handsomely compensated. I was lucky for the most part. But other people, we sacrifice all of this. When we say, no, this is important. Operating on this budget is important. And we're going to underfund the shit out of you, and you have to hire and offer shitty contracts to potentially shittier teachers that you have to hire because of their race, creed, or gender. And we wonder why we're dumb. Why? Probably because of this asshole talking like President Obama.
Whether they were in my class or not, my white colleagues would inform me how their African American.
You're a bad man with no chance. I get it. You talk like the B man. I get it. You're still a racist asshole. All right, let's bring it home. Another great edition of The Lefty Show. I thank you all for joining, liking, favoriting, subscribing, watching on YouTube. YouTube.com/LeftyOX is where you can go to find the show in its YouTube formation. Thank you all for joining. I hope you had a great time listening. I had a great time putting on the show for you. Thank you all for following me on Twitter. @Lefty643 is where you can stay up to date on all the latest and greatest Lefty Show news. Head on over to Twitter.com/Lefty643. Thank you all for helping the show grow by sharing the show with friends, family, and coworkers. Easier to do now that we've got an RSS feed. Head on over to leftyshow.podbean.com or go to your favorite Android podcasting app of choice. Search The Lefty Show, find and subscribe to us there, or head on over to the iTunes store. You want to help us climb the iTunes comedy charts. Head on over to the iTunes store, search The Lefty Show, find and subscribe us there. Thank you to everybody that's been donating. imraising.com/643 Productions where you can go. Anyway, guys, that's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you next time. I'm out. Bye.
Pay that man his money!